Welcome to the April 2025 CentOS board meeting. We've got our regular agenda. Tomas is helpfully sharing on the screen for people. So we've got the previous meeting minutes posted and up for review if anyone is curious. And our first thing on the list here is the FRCL Fedora RHEL CentOS leadership check-in. So I believe we've started up a matrix room to chat about those types of integration opportunities. And I believe Brendan is making it a public room so that other people can join and provide more ideas for how we can interact and work together. Does anyone have anything further on that end? Yep. What do you got, Jack?
Yeah, so did we nail down the in-person meeting for this and when that's going to happen yet? Because there were a lot of dates and times being thrown back and forth.
I don't believe we have. Sean, you might be.
I don't believe we have either. I know that Amy was asking about potentially doing Thursday.
Thursday,
I think.
yeah, Thursday afternoon. But I haven't gotten a room yet. I haven't gotten a list of RHEL people to invite yet, so I haven't gone any farther yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I guess it's only worth it if we have critical mass of people other than CentOS board. Otherwise, we already have a CentOS board meeting.
Yeah. And while I am perfectly happy to hang with all of you folks, making Jack drive in just to hang with us again is a big ask.
Oh, I don't mind.
Yeah, I was going to say, for what it's worth, I think it's, for what it's worth, I totally would love to hang out with Jack. That's totally fine.
Yeah, I'm always down for that, but I know it's a big drive. And so I believe
so Jack isn't going. Jack, you're not going to Summit.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you'll still be there. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Pat meant for me to drive over from the hotel, but I mean, I plan on being there. Yes.
Yeah. I didn't realize you were going to be at Summit, and so that 3-hour trip is quite the trip.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be at Summit. From like my preference would be to do it on Thursday as well. This way I can head back home at some point on Friday, which I think is the same as other people expressed. So +1 on that.
Yeah. So if we do it, it'll be Thursday afternoon. When I get back in town next week, I'll try to get us a list of people and get invites out.
So that sounds like we're coalescing, which is good. So next on the list, we've got a GitLab update. I think that this was for having SIGs move to GitLab by default. And I swear that Doc was the point on that.
So Sean and I met with Nick from GitLab, and it sounds like there are no issues from their end on us using GitLab for this. They're not particularly concerned about hitting resource limits, and in fact, they said they would be happy if we were using it enough to be hitting resource limits, and they would work with us to make sure that's not a problem. So on my side, we have been using this fairly extensively with FRCL. I talked a little bit about this in the CentOS Showcase talk yesterday, or the other day, anyway, on Monday. And so it worked very well, and I don't think there's any blockers for SIGs to start using it. Fabian mentioned on list that there's a data center move planned, so we have to decide what to do about git.centos.org in the near future, because if it's not needed anymore, there's no point in Fabian migrating it. My personal feeling is that we should use this as an opportunity to like forklift everything to GitLab and call it a day. but I'm open to discussion on this.
So, Troy.
That last section you were talking about, you did say get.centos.org. Oh, it's in the notes now. I will be quiet.
Yes. So git.centos.org there's two things in there. There's the branches that were used for source delivery for Rails since like Rails 4 or something. And then there's the branches the SIGs used to build content, both early on for CentOS Linux and more recently for CentOS Stream. So my personal suggestion is to figure out where we want this to live on GitLab, whether it's under CentOS or Red Hat or wherever. I don't personally care. Bulk move all of the repos there and then use the API to make them all archived. So then those are preserved for all of eternity. And then people can do the SIG work, can do it in their own namespace in GitLab for their own SIG. So hyperscale does it under hyperscale storage, does it under storage, and so on. But we don't have to worry about having to deal with legal or figure out if we have a like commitment around source delivery for the old stuff. We can just keep it there indefinitely and not worry about it.
Yeah, about that, Steve, if we move the source of all the old thing, do you think it's best to do it under Red Hat or under CentOS? Should we ask? Or?
If that was a question for me, I think it's better to do it under us as we are, not under Red Hat.
Okay, so there's no objection to do that. Okay.
I mean, it is under GitHub.
I agree with Davide plan. I think Davide plan is nice. So we should go forward with that if possible. I was just wanted to comment back on the mailing list to ask if there was any other dependency we are missing because other thing we missed. So maybe it's worth using the current thread to just ping people, say, do you have any objection?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think the other thing that's missing is when this is all like formalized, is updating send package to do GitLab by default instead of GitHub of CentOS. And probably there's some docs updates here and there to point people in the right direction. But all of the infra plumbing for GitLab should be there and is working now. Oh yeah, Neil mentions the Lucas side. Yeah, so the Lucas side is probably gonna stay there because I know Fabian mentioned maybe looking into doing GitLFS, and like that would be fine, but I feel like that requires work from someone to do. So my hunch is that it'll be a lot easier to just spin up a dedicated Lucas side in the new data center and use that even without GitLab. Sean.
Do we have a list of, I mean, I guess we just have this list, but a sense of what's on get.centos.org that's not, like I'm looking at it, I see a bunch of like RPM/, and that's going to be whatever, what you're talking about. But like,
yep.
You know, my projects, there's like CentOS/board is there, CentOS/CentOS.org. These are things that maybe need a little bit more.
Yeah, those need to be walked one by one to figure out their ultimate destiny.
Okay. And do we have a sense of how many of those kinds of repos there are?
I think it's like a dozen or so. They're not that many.
Okay. And do we have anything on Pagura.io? Have we ever put anything there? I'm trying to figure out where else we have stuff. I know we have
some SIGs have things on Pagure like HyperScale.
Yeah.
I would say people can continue to use that as long as it exists. I suspect it's not going to go away in the near future. Also, we also have stuff on GitHub for added fun. We have a GitHub/CentOS where there's some infra stuff there. Some SIGs have stuff there. There's also some really ancient repos in there. Yeah, there's a repo with Kickstart files to provision CentOS 5. There's like things like that we should probably archive or clean up and go over.
I know the calendar, but I'm gonna get
calendar is there. And then I think there's also a couple of other like GitHub orgs that sprung up that weren't official, but there's some SIGs we're using for their own stuff. So yeah.
But the get.centos.org stuff would be the priority so that because of the data center move, if we can get that.
Yeah, I feel like that's the thing where we have an actual deadline. Everything else we can kind of do at leisure.
All right, that all makes sense to me. I'll do I'll look through the repositories and see what there is besides the
Yeah, I feel we can probably do this async, or we can book like a half an hour one afternoon and go over them one by one and then figure out who owns them and where they should go. Some of these is also like old stuff or like duplicated stuff in various places, so it shouldn't be too difficult.
That sounds like we've got a series of plans and some work.
As usual.
Yeah. So the next item on our list is the proposed update SIG. I think we've got everything done for them from the board side, but wanted to check and make sure that there's nothing stuck.
Michelle, do you want to do an update on this, or do you want me to do it?
Sorry, I was walking away, so I just got back and I missed the question.
Do you want to do a quick update on where we're at with proposed updates?
Yes. So everything is ready but the website. We have released RPMs for CentOS 9 and CentOS 10 that you can use. We have a bunch of builds like of all kinds, like it's a mix between security updates, bug fixes, and we have one feature enhancement. So it's going well. It looks like it works. We have people consuming it internally already. We just need to finish the website to do a proper launch.
Yeah, I think once the website is up, we'll do a thing on Devel and our own discourse so that people know this exists. And a blog post, yes.
Oh, sorry, like my microphone is low voice.
Yeah, you're a bit quiet. I could hear you, but you're a bit quiet. Sean?
We could catch what you said. It's okay.
It just occurred to me that things might go in and out of proposed updates fairly rapidly. Like if you want them to land, right? Something could come in and then be gone in a month because it lands in stream or something.
Yep.
Do you think I know all SIGs are required to do quarterly, but do you think it makes sense to just like every month on the newsletter, can we just get like a bullet point of like, here's what's sitting in proposed updates? I don't want to add workload, like you have to write a big report, but like, if we could just dump, like, here's what's sitting there. Is that interesting?
So what I plan to do is I plan to have a public spreadsheet listing where packages go in and where packages get taken out. And then we can just put that in the quarterly update and just say like, hey, so we always have live data if people want to look at.
Yeah, and if you want to fold that in the newsletter, you can just consume that and put it in there as well.
That sounds easy enough. I'll keep my eye on that. Thank you.
Pat?
Yep. So my concern with putting that in is if we've got 60 things in there, that's just going to make a very long newsletter. So a total count might be a good middle ground. There's things here. There's 35 updates. Cool. Or perhaps listing the total source RPMs rather than the actual RPMs, but kind of whatever feels right in the moment. Jack?
Yeah, or maybe just like a link to a page or something where they're listed, or wherever it is in GitLab, so that if anyone wants to go poke around, they can actually go do that themselves.
Yeah, Amy mentioned a similar thing in the chat. And looks like Michelle is in process on some of those bits, but the SIG is, days old. So I'd say that they're in wonderful shape. Anything further on this that we'd like to go into? Jack, your hand is still up. If
oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. I just want to make sure you got your space if you need it. So on to our ticket list. We got a new one from Troy about publishing the WSL images in the Microsoft distribution manifest. Troy, did you want to say any more about that?
Yeah, so this started out as an alternative images thing that I was going to write up. Started talking to coworkers, and they're like, why don't we just do official CentOS stream WSL images? And then we said, who do we need to ask to do that? And the board was who we thought we should get permission from. Not only the board, but Steve, I think you represent Red Hat on the board. I'm not expecting you to answer right now, but you are one in particular we would like to get a yay or nay from.
Okay.
And this is official images that any Windows users would be able to do WSL list. And now I forgot the option, but list the things that are there, and we should show up. Sean, yes.
My vague recollection from before is that there were to actually have stuff on the Microsoft store or repository or whatever, that there was like indemnification clauses that Red Hat's lawyers were
that
shaky about.
That was true before several months ago. Microsoft changed it. It used to have to actually go in the Microsoft store. Now they have this, it's very much like Vagrant, where you have a list of things that here is your image, here's the hashtag for it, and they have an official repository that you get it put in, and it clears the legal problems that we were having before. But Fedora's already farther along than we are. They've got a request in already from it's a GitHub, not GitLab, but GitHub repo that you do a pull request and says, here's my thing, here's the name, here's where the URL is. We would be doing, we still haven't decided, between 3 to 6 months. We would do an image every 3 to 6 months. That hasn't been decided on. It wouldn't be our weekly image like we do for our usual images. Any other questions? Jack, you have a hand up?
I think it's a good
No,
idea.
I just wanted, it wasn't a question. I just wanted to respond to Sean and just let him know that we made some architectural changes in order to enable removing like all the stuff that was, encumbering the distros from submitting to WSL. This was around build, which was like 6-ish months ago. So I believe we spoke about this like probably in the first meeting that I attended, but I can send you more docs about it, Sean, if you want to know. But yeah, the legal concerns that were there before are no longer present.
Yep.
Excellent. Davida?
I just think it's great. So I'm in full support of this, and happy to help if help is needed.
Okay.
Since we're going to block on Red Hat a bit to make sure that everything goes up through Steve, what do we put voting in the ticket so that we've got time to let Steve catch up on the doc and don't get too far ahead of the cart.
Yep. And related to that, Alt Images is going to keep publishing its WSL images as things, because they're still, actually the infrastructure just landed yesterday. But we still got to get things set up on the CentOS stream side, so we have time for Red Hat to do it. So, okay, I will be quiet now. Turn it back over to you, Pat, unless anybody else has any other questions.
Seems like we're well covered there. So on our list of on-hold tickets, have we heard anything about secureboot from our various folks in the path there? I know Brian was on PTO for a bit, and Fabian's been focusing on data center moves, but I don't know if they're all the bodies involved. Amy.
And some folks said we were good to go on it, and then we got emails to the list saying we aren't good on it. So I just want to make sure that we keep this conversation going to make sure that everything is moving forward with it. Because apparently the reply in the shim ticket was not enough, people thought.
Okay. Sean?
I don't know that I have much technical details to get, but my last conversation with Adam Shamalik, he seemed to think that the bootloader team was very on top of it, and that this was actually going to happen. That's not a real update on a timeline or anything, but I think it is more than wheel spinning at this point. I'm sorry, I don't have more.
That is still lovely. Davida?
I saw some movement in the shim review tickets, so that is going forward at least. Now, that's not enough to sort out this entirely, especially for 6, but it is at least progress in the right direction. So we'll see.
Yeah, I love that this is still moving. It's been 3 years, so I hope that it completes, but I am glad that we haven't just let it rot.
Yes, very much so.
And so I think our only item left on the list is our community update from Sean, unless anybody has any more comments on the previous stuff. Amy notes that there's a pigeon roaming around her train station.
I sent that as a message for you. We had the CentOS Showcase on Monday. I think the turnout was really nice, and we had some good presentations. I am going to get those uploaded, chopped up and uploaded by the end of the week. I've been in a ton of meetings, but I will get them. I have no meetings on Friday, so at the very least, I will get them all up on Friday. I just put a note in there about GitLab, but I think we already discussed that. I wanted to make sure that that got out there. Davida gave the update on our conversation. And I spammed all of your inboxes with SIG reviews. So I have done, I filed a review for all of the SIGs, except proposed updates. I don't think we need to review that one yet. So there's a review with the information that I have on all of them. And I'll be following up on those to make sure that we get them, from the SIG, either SIG chairs or somebody active in the SIG to confirm the information. And then the board can either asynchronously or at the next meeting, it's not urgent, look at whether any of these should be retired. And along those lines, there were a few SIGs that we had previously agreed to retire, and I have actually sent messages to CentOS Deval about all of those. So I think none of them have gotten replies, and so we will proceed with offboarding those. So that's it. Just please just take a look at all the SIG review tickets in your copious amounts of spare time and see if anything stands out.
That is wonderful. Thanks, Sean. So we've got 24 minutes left and nothing else on the agenda. So I'll give you your days back unless there's anything else people think we need to go over, discuss, chat about. Hearing nothing but silence, I will give you your time back. Have fun, everyone. travel with safety. You know, Amy and people who are out moving around.
Thanks, Pat, for running.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.